Now, there are a lot of wholesome rom-com shows coming out recently, and everyone is having a pretty great time watching it. So, I'm gonna change that. Today, I have the top 10 saddest anime that will break you mentally. So, without further delay, let's make you knuckleheads start crying, because I can't be the only one alone in this world. And if I go down crying, I'm bringing you with me. So with that, to start off the list, we have True Tears. A tearjerker right off the bat. Now, this is one of the shows that doesn't look like it'll wreck you until it absolutely tears you apart. It's grounded, understated, and quite devastating. It moves at a slower, more deliberate pace, soaking in the emotional weight rather than rushing to melodrama. And with all the shows in this list filled with deaths, this is an oddball. What makes it hurt isn't death or tragedy, it's emotional distance. The characters in True Tears are trapped by their own silence, by the things they don't say, and by the connections they can't hold on to. Hiromi's loneliness, Noe's quirks masking her grief, Shinichiro's confusion, they all swirl together in a subdued storm of sadness. There's nothing flashy here. The heartbreak comes in soft moments, a look, a word left unsaid, a tear that falls after the door closes. It's a romance, sure, but it's also a story about emotional misfires and the quiet devastation of being misunderstood. Quite like myself. And that realism here is what makes the sadness sink in deep. It doesn't ask you to cry, it just leaves you sitting with a hollow feeling, and that silence is louder than any outburst. And another show that makes me feel just like this is 5 centimeters per second. Wait, don't rush to swear in the comments section. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying that they feel very similar. And even if I'm comparing it, being comparable to one of the best works of Makoto Shinkai is definitely a great thing about this anime. So, if you're feeling the true romance, well, just be prepared to have your heart torn out. Then at number 9, we have 1 Week Friends. Now, this one is an interesting one, because I knew it would be sad, but I didn't know it would be this sad. It's soft, gentle, and soaked in a sweetness that makes the sadness hit even harder. Kaori. Wait, why do all the sad animes have a girl named Kaori? Next time I start to watch an anime and there's a girl named Kaori in it, I'm switching off my computer for good. Anyways, Kaori has dementia on steroids because she forgets her friends every Monday, and every week, Yuki tries yet again. It's repetitive, sure, but so is heartbreak when it loops with no resolution. This anime hits the same notes as The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, but it trades sci-fi spectacle for small, persistent pain. It's not about memory loss as a gimmick, it's about emotional fragility. Watching Kaori try to hold on to pieces of her life is frustrating in the most human way. She wants to connect, but fear keeps her anchored, and Yuki, caught between hope and despair, never gives up. But he breaks a little more each time. The series doesn't offer a clean fix. It dances around resolution, keeping the ache alive. That's what makes it so effective. It treats emotional scars like they matter, like they don't vanish overnight. It's a great watch, but it's probably gonna be a one and done, so have some tissues nearby. Next up at number 8 is Plastic Memories. An anime combines sci-fi with raw sentiment, and it does so with a knife right to your heart. Set in a near-future world where androids are emotionally indistinguishable from humans, it centers around the retrieval team responsible for collecting these beings before their expiration date. And if you are waiting to hear about the heartbreaking part, well, the androids live only about 9 years before their memory deteriorates. So yeah, you know you're gonna receive a swift kick to the nuts from the start, but that doesn't soften the blow for sure. Watching the two main leads grow close, knowing fully well that she's on borrowed time, is cruel in a way that feels deliberate and yet poetic. There's no escape, no reset button, no plot armor. The tragedy isn't an unexpected twist, it's the premise. And the best thing this frickin' piece of crap does the best is to dig into the pain of temporary happiness. It's a masterclass in emotional slow burns, and the ending doesn't give false hope or sugarcoat anything. It just lets you sit in the sadness. Like me every Friday night. And frankly, it's better for it, so go and cry your eyes out. I know I already am. Next up at number 7, we got Mawaru Penguindrum. So this anime is strange, layered, and absolutely soaked in tragedy. Ooh, my favorite. Beneath this surreal visuals and talking penguins lies a story about loss, fate, and the unforgiving weight of past sins. It throws you into the chaos without a map, but the emotional core is razor sharp. Two brothers try to save their sister from dying by making a deal with an unknown force, setting off a chain of events that slowly reveals how deep the trauma goes. The series constantly shifts tone, one moment absurd, the next deeply unsettling. But the sadness is like that one relative during a festival who never leaves. And what sets this anime apart is how it treats memory and guilt. It's like Serial Experiments Lane, but more emotional. It plays with timeliness, identity, and consequence. There's no stable ground, no clear villains, just people hurt by the world doing what they can to hold on. The final episodes spiral into something beautiful and horrifying. Redemption feels earned but not without sacrifice, and that sacrifice hits like a train. Overall, a great watch, and definitely better than watching the beginning after the end anime. So please be sure to give this one a watch. And after that, we have a classic, Wolf's Rain. This anime doesn't just mourn, it howls. Okay, alright, I'll stop with the bad jokes. So this post-apocalyptic tale of wolves searching for paradise is heavy with symbolism. And it's absolutely drenched in melancholy. From its muted color palette to its mournful soundtrack, every frame oozes sadness. The world is dying, the characters are fading, and hope feels more like a rumor than a destination. It's spiritually close to Ergo Proxy, another bleak yet beautiful anime, but Wolf's Rain cuts deeper emotionally. Each of the wolves carry their own scars, and as the series progresses, it becomes clear that this isn't a story where everyone makes it. Or even should. It strips everything down to raw emotion, leaving you hollow by the end, and the way the show treats death, not as a dramatic twist, but as an inevitable conclusion. It gives it a quiet, haunting power. It's a slow, philosophical burn, but unlike most shows in the genre, Wolf's Rain breaks your heart along the way. So be sure to binge watch this one. Coming in at number 5, we have Angel Beats. Oh man, this anime is basically chaos and heartbreak. Wrapped in a school setting and sprinkled with an absurd amount of comedy, it balances slapstick humor with existential dread in a way that you'll be crying twice. First from laughing, then from you know what. Set in a limbo-like afterlife for teenagers who died with regrets, it starts off wild and loud. Gunfights, explosions, over-the-top antics, then it gradually slips into something deeper, something tragic. Every character here is defined by the pain they couldn't let go of in life. Think of it as the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya with more emotional damage and fewer loops. It doesn't hide its intent. Every episode keeps edging you. Ooh, wait a minute, that's not what I meant to say. Well, you know what I mean. What I mean is that this anime slowly pushes you to your limit, and it definitely won't be the happiest moment of your life. It gets you to care fast and pulls the rug right out from under you. The final episodes, especially the graduation scene, are devastating. Not just because of what happens, but because of what's left unsaid. There's a hollowness that stays long after the credits roll, and it's not perfect, but its sadness is unforgettable. And up at number 4, we have To Your Eternity. So if you took the soul-searching of Mushishi and the emotional brutality of Made in Abyss, you'd get To Your Eternity. It begins with a nameless orb that slowly learns what it means to live by imitating life, and experiencing all the pain that comes with it. Talking about orbs, and a lot of your empty skulls are still sleeping on the orb anime, so go and watch it, it's great. Anyways, the first episode alone crushes the viewer with a self-contained tragedy, and it never lets up from there. Each arc introduces a new character that the protagonist Fushi grows close to, and each one is eventually taken away. The cycle of attachment and loss becomes the emotional core of the show. It hurts not just because people die, but because their deaths shape Fushi into someone more human. Sadness isn't an occasional note in the series, it's the melody. And there's something distinctly Hunter x Hunter-esque in how the show explores the cost of growth. But where HH mixes it with adventure, To Your Eternity walks straight into suffering without flinching. It embraces the loneliness, change, and memory in ways that stay with you. It's beautiful, but it's relentless. And that's what makes it unforgettable. So be sure to give this one a try. And after that, at the third spot of today's list, we've got Anohana, the flower we saw that day. Now, there has been a lot of talk related to this show recently about how good yet underrated this show is. And I could not have agreed more. If the anime had a hall of fame for emotional gut punches, Anohana would definitely be top on the shelf, with tissues stacked beside it, because just getting near it and remembering what happens will make you sniffle. This story isn't just about grief, it's about the haunting kind, the kind that doesn't fade, the kind that lingers in childhood hangouts and fractured friend groups. Menma, a girl who died young, returns as a ghost visible only to the leader of their old group. What unfolds is a slow unraveling of guilt, regret, and unresolved trauma. The emotional intensity doesn't rely on cheap tricks or overdone melodrama. Like Clannad After Story, it earns its tears through characters who feel real, broken, and human. Every member of the group wears their grief differently. Some lash out, others retreat inward, but none have truly moved on. Watching them come together only to fall apart again before finding closure is brutal in the best way. It's the kind of anime that hits harder the older you get. You start realizing what it's really about, how people cope with death, how they carry loss in the quiet moments, and the last episode was the final punch to the nuts. If you somehow manage to hold yours until then, the last episode basically throws you off the cliff. So if you want to scar yourself for life and be depressed for the whole rest of the year, be my guest and watch this one. Then in the second spot of today's list, we have Grave of the Fireflies. Now this one is a true classic, and probably one of the very first animes that broke me emotionally. Because when I first dived into anime, I wanted to check out all the Ghibli movies. And out of all the movies out there, I chose this one. And it was not the happiest couple of days of my life, just saying. So this movie is pain in its purest form. No fantasy, no alternate worlds, just war, hunger, and a brother trying to keep his little sister alive in a world that has already given up on them. It's often referenced as Studio Ghibli's darkest tale, standing in stark contrast to the whimsy of Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro. There's no magic here, only the brutality of reality. This film doesn't build to a tearful ending, it opens with death, then forces you to witness every step that led there. It's grounded in real-world tragedy, and that makes the emotions hit hard. The sorrow in Seita's eyes, the way Setsuko fades before your eyes, it doesn't ask for your tears, it demands them. There's no comfort, just the aching knowledge that this could have been avoided. It's less a story and more a memorial, a reminder that behind every war statistic is a human story like this. And that's what makes it timeless in its sadness. It doesn't just leave a mark, it brands you with it. And at the top spot of today's list, we have Your Lie in April. Now, if I'm uploading this one on time, then we are perchance, in April. And it'd be a crime to leave this one out. After all, it's April. But if it's after April, who the hell cares? Now, when I rewatched this anime, I was generally surprised how much this anime disguises itself as a typical musical. Like it had all the cliches a normal musical anime would have, but then it decided to kick our nuts from the start. It feels like a soft echo of teenage awkwardness, but it doesn't take long before it carves its own identity into pain. The show plays with color and light like a painter with a broken heart, wrapping beauty around sorrow so tightly that you almost forget how cruel it is. Our main character, a piano prodigy crushed by trauma, meets Kaori, a violinist who practically bursts with life. Together they find music again, only for the story to remind you that happiness has a time limit. The narrative isn't just about performance, it's about reclaiming the will to feel. Every concert scene isn't just about the notes, but the emotional crescendo behind them. Kaori's letter is a masterclass in heartbreak. It reframes the entire story and hammers the grief home. Not in a melodramatic way, just with crushing honesty. And the title? which once felt poetic becomes a lie you weren't ready to hear. It's not just a sad ending, it's an emotional collapse. So by any chance you haven't watched it, grab your tissues and lock yourself up in your room because you're going to be crying for the rest of the month. Well, that's the list for today, guys. If you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment down below on what anime you think should have been on this list. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.